Here are the new top-rate attackers in Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go made huge impactful changes to raids last end of August that there have been shakeups in the top-rate attackers list for several Pokemon types. Most of the changes were concerning move timing, which you may have noticed this September. If you want to go into the details, I combined information from this Reddit post with sims and calculations from Pokebattler and Pokemon Go Hub. I'll place the links in the description. The main idea is that the time it takes to use moves, both fast and charged moves, has increased for some and decreased for many. Those we can use faster, of course, have better DPS now, while those slower have worse. Raid bosses now throw charged moves as soon as they reach the required energy, whereas before there was some randomness to it. The rate at which raid bosses charge energy became slower during end of August, so raids became easier, and then they made it faster this second week of September, and that's why you see some complaining about Kyogre spamming charged moves. The only word from Niantic so far has been this tweet. I'll keep you updated on future changes if any. Note that the top attackers in this video only apply to raids and not PvP nor regular gym battles. First up are 3 top generalists that were already great before but got better with buffs to their fast moves. These are Mega Rayquaza with Air Slash and Dragon Ascent, Dawnwing's Necrozma with Shadow Claw and Moongeist Beam, and Duskmane Necrozma with Metal Claw and Sunsteel Strike. The plus or minus signs indicate buffs or nerfs to the moves, so you don't get bombarded with too many numbers on your screen. More plus signs mean greater buffs, and the same goes for minus signs and nerfs. For Mega Rayquaza, Air Slash has been buffed more than Dragon Tail, so it is now preferred in neutral situations. For the fused forms of Necrozma, they buffed Shadow Claw and Metal Claw so much that I would consider them must-haves for serious raiders. Due to sheer DPS, these 3 will perform well in raids where they are not resisted. They are even at par with counters that deal super effective damage. Investing Stardust and candies in these will not go to waste. Now let's talk about grass types. Mega Sceptile still sits at the number 1 spot with slight buffs to both Bullet Seed and Frenzy Plant. Mega Venusaur is not far behind with a Vine Whip buff. Zarude also got buffs to both of its moves. A huge buff for Leafage has catapulted Decidueye and Meowscarada into the top 5, outperforming even Kartana in terms of DPS. Kartana has been the poster boy of nerfs in social media, but it is still strong despite a slight nerf to Leaf Blade. It's just that the others got way better. Now on to fire types where it gets a bit awkward. Blast Burn got slightly nerfed that it now performs worse than buffed Blaze Kick and is just at par with Flamethrower. Fire Spin got better, so Shadow Moltres is back on the list. For non-Mega non-Shadows, Heatran and Reshiram are good, but Reshiram's Fire Fang got slightly nerfed. For water types, Kyogre reigns supreme with both Waterfall and Origin Pulse getting buffs. Mega Swampert and Mega Gyarados got slight nerfs to their charged moves, but their fast move buffs cover that. A great non-Mega non-Shadow water attacker is the recent CD Pokemon Primarina. Now about electric types where it gets exciting. Spark got a huge buff that Shadow Magnezone is now the number 1 electric rate attacker. That's not even factoring in its double resistance to flying types, which we will commonly use it for. Circuitry with Spark also got stronger. Then we have more Shadows in Shadow Luxray, Shadow Electivire, and Shadow Raikou with buffs to their fast and charged moves. Mega Manectric got stronger itself as well, plus of course it provides a boost to electric teammates. Zekrom got only slightly stronger, but it still has the Dragon type resistances. Dropping out of this list is Thundersterian, which I think shouldn't happen for legendaries with signature moves, but that's how it is for now. Many ice types got better with buffs to Ice Shard and Avalanche. Glass Cannon Shadow Weavile, Mega Glalie, and Daxcalibur are the main beneficiaries, while Shadow Mamoswine got slightly better. I think we have to note though that in practice, we use ice types against those with double weakness to it, like Mega Rayquaza and Mega Salamence, which hit hard, so survivability is a big factor. That's why I'm including Triple Axel Gardevoir in this list, as well as Titan and Glaceon. For fighting types, Keldeo is now the new top-rate attacker with buffs to both of its moves. Mega Lucario has been demoted to number 2 with nerfs to Force Palm, Aura Sphere, and even Counter. Terrakion, like Keldeo, got stronger. While Counter was nerfed, Dynamic Punch got a bit better, ensuring the new Shadow Conkeldurr is still on this list. Mega Blaziken with fighting type moves now performs better than Mega Heracross since Blaziken's Focus Blast was unchanged while Heracross's Close Combat got nerfed. Even sadder than fighting types are poison types with nerfs to Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb. Mega and Shadow Gengar at least have the improved Shadow Claw. Mega Beedrill, Naganadel, and Nahiligo round up the top 5, but they are considerably weaker than before. Groudon lovers will be happy to hear that Mudshot got better in raids, Mega Garchomp also got better, and Shadow Excadrill now prefers Mudshot over the nerfed Mudslap. So for ground fast moves, Mudshot is now preferred in raids, while Mudslap is preferred in PvP unlike before. Obviously, losers here are Mudslap users like Mamoswine and Rhyperior. Flying to even greater heights are Mega and regular Rayquaza with the Air Slash buff. Other flying types like Mega Pidgeot and Shadow Unpheasant have followed suit, switching to Air Slash, while Steady Yveltal with Gust and Oblivion Wing rounds up our flying top 5. We're about halfway through the types and there's more info coming, so I suggest saving this video. If you have found this helpful, a subscribe would be appreciated as well. Top Psychic type attackers are still Shadow and regular Mewtwo, but they now prefer Psycho Cut over Confusion, and Psystrike was nerfed. Many of us probably spent a lot of money on Mewtwo raids, so this is disappointing. I understand the rounding off of move durations for simplification, but maybe they could look into the raw damage number for the signature move of this iconic legendary. Mega Alakazam also benefits from the Psycho Cut buff, while Zen Headbutt is finally useful for Mega Latios. Mega Gardevoir is on this list, though I think it is more useful as a fairy type attacker. Bug types got much needed buffs with Mega Heracross and the Pinsir's leading the way. Mega Beedrill is also no longer just useful on the poison side. Fan favorite Volcarona got slightly better, though it still takes 400 candies to evolve. For rock types, which we often use in raids, we get both good and bad news. Smackdown got buffed, but Rock Throw and Stone Edge got nerfed. That's why we only have Shadow and regular Rampardos, Mega and Shadow Tyra, and Shadow and regular Rhyperior, with Mega Diancie dropping out of this list. For ghost types, which we often use against Psychic type legendary raid bosses, we already mentioned the crazy Shadow Claw buff that made Dawnwing's Necrozma even stronger. Also better now are Mega and Shadow Gengar, Mega Banette, and Giratina Origin. Tyranitar fans will not be happy to hear that despite still the top dark attackers, Mega and Shadow Tyranitar got a brutal swing nerf. Closing the gap are Mega Houndoom, Mega Gyarados, and Darkrai, with Darkrai even favoring non-stab Shadow Ball as its charged move. This actually makes it a good time to talk about Ghost and Dark attackers being super effective to the same types and are comparable in use. They are both super effective against Psychic and Ghost types, so which ones do we use? The Ghost types on this list have better DPS than the Dark types, but Dark resists Psychic and Ghost which you're raiding against. I say we check the raid boss's moves and sims. For example, a Mewtwo raid boss may have Psychic or Focus Blast. Whether you use Mega Gengar or Mega Tyra depends on the Mewtwo you are facing. On to Dragon types, which many of us love. Mega Rayquaza is still king, though Breaking Swipe got a significant nerf. Mega Garchomp and Shadow Dragonite are still strong, and the origin forms of Dialga and Palkia now perform better than regular Rayquaza. It is worth noting that we use dragons against dragons, so Dialga with the steel subtyping can play a factor. Speaking of steel types, the list was dictated by the huge buff to Metal Claw and the nerf to Bullet Punch. Duskmane is of course number 1, with the Excadrills and the Dialgas benefiting from Metal Claw buff. Shadow and regular Metagross are still on this list, but have dropped a few spots due to the said Bullet Punch nerf. Finally, our top fairy is still Mega Gardevoir, followed by Enamorus, but we now have these Tapus and Zacian outclassing Xerneas, despite having non-fairy fast moves. And I think I ran the Sims against Guzzlord, which is doubly weak to fairy. Xerneas dropped a few spots due to a slight nerf in Moonblast. While we now have a better picture of the new raiding landscape, don't feel pressured to shift to all of them right away. The raid counters you have built before are still strong and can get the job done. There are just certain Pokemon that got significantly better. I hope this guide has helped. Thanks for watching. Follow me for more tips and updates.